Sam Carter worked on a busy space station that floated far from Earth. People from many planets lived and worked there. Every day, Sam wore his blue coveralls and carried his old toolbox. He fixed things that broke, like pipes, doors, and lights. Sam was not very tall, and his brown hair was always a little messy. He liked to laugh and tell stories, even when his hands were dirty from work. Other people on the station liked Sam because he was friendly and never gave up, even when the job was hard. One day, Sam was working in a quiet corner, fixing a food machine that was making strange noises. Suddenly, a voice came over the station's speakers, asking for all engineers to come to Dock 5. The voice sounded worried. Sam picked up his toolbox and hurried to the docking area, walking fast through the long metal halls. As he reached Dock 5, he saw many people gathered there. Some were human, but many had green, blue, or purple skin. Their eyes were wide and they spoke in low, worried voices. In the middle of the group stood a very large and shiny ship. It looked new, with smooth sides that changed color as you looked at them. The ship belonged to the Treller, an alien race that Sam had only met once or twice before. The Treller were known for building fast ships and smart machines, but they often looked down on other people's technology. Next to the ship, 2 Treller engineers stood talking to the stations. Chief, one was taller, with thin blue arms and yellow eyes. Her name was Lyra, the other, Creve, was shorter and did not speak much. Both wore silver uniforms that showed their rank. Sam listened as the station chief explained the problem. The Treller ship had come to the station because something important was broken inside the engine room. The ship's computer said there was a leak in the power system, and if it was not fixed soon, the ship could lose all its power. Lyra and Creve had gone inside to fix it, but now they were stuck. The door to the engine room would not open, and the controls outside did not work. Even worse, the ship's backup power was failing, so there was less air inside the engine room every minute. The chief engineer tried to open the door using special tools, but nothing worked. The Treller ship was built with many safety systems. If the computer thought something was wrong, it locked all the doors and only opened them if the problem was fixed. The Treller engineers inside the engine room could talk through a small window, but it was hard to hear them, and the Treller language was not easy for humans to understand. Lyra tried to shout instructions, but the station's engineers could not understand everything she said. They looked at their machines and shook their heads. The situation was getting worse every minute. Sam stood quietly, watching. He knew the others did not expect him to help, since the Treller always thought their ships were too advanced for humans. But Sam had seen many strange machines in his life, and he was not afraid to try. He walked up to the chief and asked if he could take a look. The chief shrugged and said yes, because no one else had a better idea. Sam put on his gloves and opened his toolbox. He had all his favorite tools, including a roll of silver duct tape that he always kept in his kit. Sam went to the door and looked at the control panel. It was full of blinking lights and buttons with symbols he did not know. He looked through the small window and saw Lyra and Creve. They looked tired and scared. Lyra tried to show Sam a diagram. She drew on a piece of paper. She pointed to different parts of the engine room, and Sam watched carefully. Even though he did not understand the Treller language, he could see that some pipes were leaking and some wires were loose. The engine room was full of smoke, and the lights inside flickered. Sam took a deep breath and thought about what to do. He could not open the door the normal way, so he decided to try something different. He walked around the ship, looking for another way in. He found a small maintenance hatch on the side of the ship. It was meant for small repairs and not for people to go inside, but Sam was thin and small, so he thought he could fit. He opened the hatch with his screwdriver and crawled inside, carrying his toolbox. Inside the ship, the air smelled strange. It was warmer, and the walls made soft humming noises. Sam moved slowly, using his flashlight to see. The tunnels were tight and full of cables. He saw some broken wires and a leaking pipe. Water was dripping onto the floor, making small puddles. Sam took his duct tape and wrapped it around the leaking pipe, stopping the water. He used a small wrench to tighten some loose bolts. Every time he fixed something, he felt a little better. As he moved deeper into the ship, Sam heard the alarm from the engine room. He knew he had to hurry. He followed the sound of Lyra's voice, crawling through a narrow tunnel until he reached a metal wall. He knocked on the wall, and Lyra knocked back. Sam found another small hatch and opened it, looking inside the engine room. He waved to Lyra and Creve. They looked surprised but happy to see him. Sam saw that the door was stuck because of a broken electrical circuit. The control wires were loose and hanging. Sam used his duct tape to hold the wires in place, making a bridge so the electricity could flow. He used a paperclip from his pocket to connect two wires, just like he had done back on Earth. The lights on the door control changed from red to green, and the door unlocked with a loud click. Sam pulled the door open with all his strength. Lyra and Creve hurried out, coughing and taking deep breaths. They thanked Sam in their own language. The station crew cheered. Sam smiled, wiping sweat from his face. He looked at his duct tape and thought, sometimes the simplest tools are the best. Even in space, a human with a little hope and a roll of duct tape could make a big difference. After Sam helped Lyra and Creve escape the engine room, everyone in Dock 5 felt more relaxed. People smiled at Sam and shook his hand. The Treller engineers took deep breaths and tried to recover from the shock. The station chief thanked Sam, but he knew the job was not over yet. The Treller ship was still broken, and now it needed even more repairs after the damage and the strange duct tape fixes Sam had made. Lyra and Creve sat on a bench while medical staff checked their health. Lyra's blue skin was pale and she coughed a little, but she was strong and got up soon. Creve was quiet and just stared at the floor. Sam brought them some water and tried to make a joke about how the engine room was hotter than the kitchen back home. Lyra did not laugh, but she gave him a small smile. She thanked him in slow English, and Sam felt proud, even though he could see she was worried. The station chief spoke with Sam and the Treller engineers. He asked if Sam could help with the rest of the repairs, since no one else on the station wanted to go inside the strange ship after what happened. The Treller did not seem happy with this idea, but Lyra finally nodded. She drew more diagrams and pointed at places inside the ship that needed attention. Sam listened carefully and nodded. He did not know all the names for the alien parts, but he could see what was broken. Some wires were cut, a pump was not working, and there were cracks in one of the main pipes. Sam thought about what tools he would need. Sam packed his toolbox again. This time, he put in extra rolls of duct, tape, some wire, and a strong flashlight. He also took some snacks and a bottle of water, just in case he had to stay inside for a long time. The Treller ship was quiet, with the main engines shut down and only a soft blue glow from the emergency lights. Sam climbed back through the small hatch, waving goodbye to the crew outside. Lyra watched him go, looking worried but hopeful. Inside the tunnels, it was even darker than before. Sam turned on his flashlight and moved slowly, listening for any new sounds. He talked to himself, just to feel less alone. He remembered his dad back on Earth, who always said, "If it can't be fixed with duct tape, it can't be fixed." Sam smiled at that thought and kept moving. The first problem he found was a leaking pump. Water was spraying on the wall, making the metal wet and slippery. Sam wrapped the pipe with duct tape, using many layers, and pressed it tight with his hands. He checked the wires near the pump and found a loose one. He used a small cutter to strip the wire and connected it again, then covered the connection with more duct tape. The pump made a humming sound and then worked normally. Next, Sam crawled further down and found a spot where the lights flickered on and off. He shined his flashlight and saw that a group of wires had burned out. The smell of melted plastic was strong. Sam knew this was dangerous. He took out his small wire cutter and started cutting away the burned ends. He used some of his spare wire to join the good ends together. He wrapped the new wires with duct tape to keep them in place. When he finished, the lights came on and stayed on. Sam felt better. In another tunnel, Sam found something strange. There was a box on the wall with symbols he had never seen. He guessed it was part of the ship's safety system. He opened the box and saw a group of fuses inside. One was black and burned. Sam remembered how he used to fix old machines at home by replacing fuses with bits of metal or even foil when he had nothing else. He looked in his toolbox and found a small piece of metal from an old pen. He shaped it carefully and put it in place of the burned fuse. He closed the box and waited. The ship made a soft buzzing sound and some red lights turned green. Sam crawled back to the engine room door. He called to Lyra and Creve, who were waiting outside now. He tried to explain what he had done, using simple English and pointing at his tools. Lyra looked inside and saw the layers of duct tape and new wires. She looked surprised but also impressed. She did not expect such simple tools to work on her advanced ship. She spoke with Creve in their own language, and Sam could hear their voices echo in the hall. After a while, Lyra came over and handed Sam a new drawing. She pointed at the main engine panel, which still showed a warning light. Sam crawled to the back of the engine room and opened the panel. Inside, he saw many small parts and blinking lights. He remembered Lyra's drawing and looked for the part she marked. It was a small relay switch, but it was stuck and would not move. Sam tried to loosen it, but it was jammed with melted plastic. Sam took out his screwdriver and gently tapped the stuck switch. He tried to move it, but it did not budge. He took a deep breath and thought hard. He remembered how sometimes when parts got stuck back home, he would use oil or even a bit of water to help, but he had nothing like that here. So Sam tried something new. He wrapped his screwdriver with a bit of duct tape, making the end softer, and tapped the switch again, gently but firmly. This time the switch moved a little. He tried again, and after a few more tries, it clicked into place. The warning light on the panel turned off. Sam grinned and wiped his forehead. He told Lyra the switch was fixed. She checked her own control pad and smiled. She said, "Good job, Sam," in careful English. Sam felt proud again. Sam kept working, moving from one problem to the next. He used his duct tape for many things, patching small holes, tying wires together, and even making a temporary handle for a broken lever. Every time he fixed something, he marked it on Lyra's drawing with a red pen. He was tired and his back hurt, but he did not stop. He wanted to finish the job and prove that humans could help, even with simple tools. Back outside, the station crew watched the lights on the Treller ship. They saw them go from red to yellow and then to green. Some people cheered and others called out Sam's name. Lyra and Creve stood near the hatch, ready to go back inside and check Sam's work. When Sam finally crawled out, covered in dust and tape, Lyra shook his hand. She said, "You fixed more in 1 hour than our team did in a day." Creve nodded and said, "Thank you, Sam." Sam smiled, feeling proud and tired. He looked at his roll of duct tape and said, "Sometimes the old ways are the best ways." The Treller engineers looked at the tape and nodded, maybe for the first time understanding why humans liked it so much. Sam knew there was still more work to do, but he felt ready. He was not just a mechanic, he was a problem solver, and now even the Treller trusted him. Sam woke up early the next morning. He slept in a small room on the station. His bed was not very soft, and he had used his old jacket as a pillow. He rubbed his eyes and sat up, feeling tired but happy. Yesterday had been a long day, but he had helped save the Treller engineers, and now he was trusted to help fix their ship. Sam washed his face, put on his clean coveralls, and grabbed his toolbox. The roll of duct tape was now half used, but he still had enough for today's work. When Sam reached Dock 5, the Treller ship was quiet. The outer lights were on, and a few people from the station stood nearby, talking in low voices. Lyra and Creve waited by the hatch. Lyra held a small bag with food and a bottle of water for Sam. She offered them to him with a polite smile. "For you, Sam, you need energy," she said. Sam thanked her and took a quick bite of the food, which tasted sweet and a little spicy. He drank some water and felt better. Lyra showed Sam another drawing. This time she pointed to a part of the ship called the fusion chamber. She explained that it was the main part of the engine and needed to be checked for damage. The problem was that the fusion chamber was deep inside the ship, and the way there was narrow and full of wires and pipes. Creve handed Sam a special flashlight that could show heat. "It will help you see where it is too hot?" Creve said quietly. Sam nodded and put the flashlight in his pocket. He climbed into the ship again, this time feeling a little more confident. The ship was cold in some places and hot in others. Sam used the special flashlight to look for hot spots, just like Lyra said. He crawled through a narrow tunnel, careful not to hit his head on the low ceiling. Sometimes he had to move wires and squeeze past pipes. He could hear the hum of the engine under his feet. After a while, Sam reached the fusion chamber. The room was round and full of lights and buttons. In the center there was a tall glass tube with a soft blue light inside. The light moved and changed, almost like water. Sam remembered Lara's warning: if the fusion chamber broke, the ship would not be able to fly, and it could even be dangerous. He walked around the chamber, shining the heat flashlight at every corner. He found one spot where the heat was much higher than the rest. Sam looked closer and saw that a small valve was leaking. Hot steam came out in a thin line, and the metal around it was turning brown. He knew he had to fix it fast before it got worse. He used his wrench to try and close the valve, but it was stuck. He pulled harder, but it did not move. He took a break, wiped his forehead, and thought for a moment. He remembered what his friend from home used to say: if it's stuck, try turning it the other way. Sam tried turning the valve the other way, and it moved just a little. He took his duct tape and wrapped it around the handle for a better grip. With both hands he turned as hard as he could, and finally the valve closed. The steam stopped, and the metal began to cool. Sam checked the other side of the chamber and found some wires that were burned. He cut away the bad parts and used his own wire to connect them again. He wrapped the new connection with duct tape and made sure it was tight. He tested the control panel, and the warning light for the fusion chamber turned off. Suddenly the lights flickered, and Sam heard a strange noise behind him. He turned and saw a small door open, and Lyra and Creve crawled in. Lyra looked worried. "Are you all right, Sam?" she asked. "We saw the heat level go up on the panel." Sam smiled and told her he fixed the leak. Lyra checked the valve and the wires. She looked at Sam's work, then nodded. "You did well. It is safe now." Creve looked around and pointed to Sam's roll of duct tape. "You use this for everything?" he asked in slow English. Sam laughed and said, "It works for almost anything. My dad taught me that." Lyra and Creve looked at each other, not sure if he was joking or serious. They left the fusion chamber together. Outside, a small group of station workers and a few Treller engineers waited. Lyra explained what Sam had done, showing them the fixed valve and the taped wires. The other engineers looked at Sam with new respect. One of them, a young Treller named Zara, asked if Sam could teach her how to fix things the human way. Sam said he would be happy to. Later, Sam and Zara worked together on another part of the ship. Zara watched closely as Sam used duct tape to fix a small leak in a water line. She asked many questions and tried to copy Sam's work. At first, she had trouble tearing the duct tape, but Sam showed her how to use her teeth if she needed to. They both laughed, and Zara finally got it right. As the day went on, more Treller engineers joined Sam and Zara. Soon, there was a small group learning how to use basic tools and duct tape to fix things. Some were surprised that such simple things worked on a high-tech ship. Sam explained, "It's not just about the tools. It's about using your head and not giving up." By evening, the ship looked better. The leaks were fixed and the lights worked. The Treller chief engineer visited and thanked Sam. He said, "You have done something we could not do. You used simple tools, but you had a big heart." Sam felt proud. He realized that the Treller, who first thought humans were not clever, now respected him for his skills. Before leaving the ship, Sam checked all his fixes one more time. He saw his duct tape patches everywhere, on pipes, wires, and even a door handle. It made him smile. Lyra walked with him to the hatch. "Thank you, Sam," she said softly. "You helped us and taught us something new." Sam waved goodbye and crawled out of the ship. He was tired, but he felt good. As he walked back to his room, he thought about how sometimes the simplest ways were the best, even on a ship full of alien technology. The story of Sam and his duct tape had just begun, and everyone on the station was already talking about it. Sam woke up the next day to a message on his small communicator. It was from Lara, asking him to come to the Treller ship as soon as he could. Sam stretched his arms and smiled. He was starting to like the work with the Treller engineers, even if it was hard and sometimes dangerous. He got dressed, grabbed his toolbox, and made sure he still had his roll of duct tape. He walked down the busy halls of the station, feeling more confident than ever. When Sam arrived at Dock 5, he saw that the area was busy. Many station workers and Treller engineers were moving around, bringing tools and parts. The Treller ship's outside lights glowed softly, showing it was getting more power. Lyra and Creve were waiting by the hatch. Lyra greeted Sam with a quick nod and handed him a small device. "Sam, this is a scanner. It helps you find hidden problems," she explained. Sam thanked her and put it in his pocket. Lyra led Sam into the ship. She explained that some systems were working, but others still had problems. Last night, while the ship ran on low power, the alarm started again. The main computer showed warnings about a leak in the life support system. Sam knew that if life support failed, everyone inside could be in danger. Lyra looked worried, and even Creve looked more serious than usual. Sam started by checking the life support room. The air was cool, and he heard the sound of fans. He used the new scanner, pointing it at the pipes and panels. The scanner beeped when it found a problem. Behind the metal wall, Sam opened the panel and saw that a pipe was cracked, letting air escape. The crack was small, but it could get worse if not fixed. Sam thought about what to do. He cleaned the area with a cloth, then wrapped the crack with 3 layers of duct tape, pressing it tight. He checked the scanner again, and it showed the leak had stopped. Sam smiled. He marked the fix on his notepad and kept moving. Next, Sam checked the air filter. It was full of dust and small pieces of metal. He used his small brush to clean it, then used some tape to hold a loose piece of the frame in place. He saw that some wires nearby were loose, so he tightened them and taped them together. Lyra watched Sam work and asked questions. "Why do you use tape for everything?" she asked. Sam explained. "Tape can hold things together until you can fix them better. Sometimes that's all you need." Lyra nodded and seemed to understand. After a while, Creve called out from the other side of the room. He pointed to a display showing a drop in air pressure in another part of the ship. Sam and Lyra hurried to check. They found a door that would not open because the lock was broken. The lock's control wires were tangled, and the control box was hanging open. Sam untangled the wires and used a piece of tape to hold them in the right spot. He used a paper clip to connect 2 ends that were broken. The door opened with a hiss, and Sam and Lyra went through. Inside the next room, Sam saw water on the floor. A pipe was spraying a thin mist of water into the air. Sam crawled under the pipe, wiped it dry, and wrapped the leak with duct tape. He used some wire to tie the pipe to a support, making it stronger. Lyra shined her light on his work and said, "You are very quick." Sam just smiled and kept working. As they checked the last corner of the room, the lights flickered and the ship's alarm started again. A voice from the main computer spoke in the Treller language. Lyra looked at her control pad and frowned. "Now the cooling system is in trouble," she said. Sam followed her to the control room, where Creve and Zara, the young engineer, waited. The cooling system panel showed red warning lights. Sam opened a side panel and saw that a fan was stuck and wires were smoking. He quickly pulled the wires apart with his pliers so they would not catch fire. He wrapped the bad wires with tape, then took a small stick from his toolbox and used it to turn the fan by hand. The fan started spinning slowly, then picked up speed. Cool air filled the room. The warning lights changed from red to yellow, then to green. Lyra and Zara cheered softly, clapping Sam on the back. Creve looked at Sam and said, "You saved the ship again." Sam checked the room to make sure everything was safe. He used his scanner to look for any other hot spots or leaks. The scanner showed that the temperature was normal now. Sam felt tired but proud. After the main work was done, Lyra asked Sam to help teach the younger Treller engineers how to use simple tools. Sam led a small class in the docking bay. He showed them how to use pliers, screwdrivers, and especially duct tape. He explained how to listen for strange sounds and look for leaks. Zara was very interested and tried fixing a small panel herself. She used tape to hold the wires. Just like Sam, the other engineers watched and asked many questions. Sam told stories from Earth about how people fix things with whatever they had. He said, "Sometimes you have to make things work with what you have, not what you wish you had." The Treller listened and laughed at some of his stories. Even Lara, who was very serious, smiled a little when the class was over. The Treller engineers thanked Sam and shook his hand. Some of them asked if he could visit their home planet one day and teach more people. Sam said he would like that. He was happy to see how the Treller engineers now trusted him and wanted to learn from him. That evening, as Sam walked back to his room, he saw his duct tape used in many places on the Treller ship. He was proud of his work and the respect he had earned. Sam knew there might be more problems to solve, but he was ready for anything. He believed that with a little bit of tape and a lot of heart, he could fix almost anything, anywhere in the galaxy. Sam woke up to loud knocking on his door. He jumped out of bed, still tired, and opened the door to see Zara standing there, out of breath. "Sam, there is a big problem." "Please come quickly," she said. Sam grabbed his toolbox and hurried after her through the quiet halls of the station. Even before they reached Dock 5, Sam heard the alarm from the Treller ship. The red lights flashed, and a voice spoke in the Treller language, warning of a new emergency. When Sam got to the ship, he saw Lara and Creve talking quickly with the station chief. Everyone looked worried. The Treller ship's main engine had started to overheat. If they could not fix it soon, the whole ship could be damaged. Lara saw Sam and rushed over. "We need you, Sam. The cooling system you fixed yesterday has another problem." "This time it is much worse," she said. Sam nodded and climbed into the ship. The air inside was hot and heavy. His clothes stuck to his skin. As he moved through the tunnels, he heard strange sounds, metal creaking and water dripping. Sam reached the control room where Zara waited. She showed Sam the warning lights on the main panel. All of them were red now. Zara explained that the main coolant pipe had cracked, and the backup system was not working. The pressure was rising fast. Sam knew they had to act quickly. He told Zara to help him find the crack. Together they followed the pipes, feeling for heat with their hands and using the scanner. The scanner beeped loudly at a spot where the pipe turned near the engine. Sam saw a long crack and water was spraying out in a thin line. The metal around the crack was very hot. Sam took out his duct tape, but he knew the crack was too big for tape alone. He needed something strong to hold the pipe together while the engine ran. He looked around and saw a pile of spare metal plates in a corner. Sam grabbed one and placed it over the crack, then wrapped the whole thing with many layers of duct tape. He pressed it tight, then asked Zara to help hold it. With both of them working together, they managed to slow the leak. Lyra and Creve joined them. Lyra checked the pressure on her small device. "It is still too high," she said. "We need to open the backup coolant tank." But when Creve tried to open the valve, it did not move. The handle was broken and the control wires were loose. Sam crawled under the tank and saw the problem. The wires had slipped out of place. He used a screwdriver to put them back, then wrapped them in duct tape to keep them from moving again. Sam told Zara to try the handle now. She turned it and the backup coolant flowed into the system. The temperature dropped a little and the warning lights turned from red to yellow. The ship's alarm became softer. Everyone breathed a little easier, but Lyra said, "We are not safe yet. The main engine still needs to be fixed before we can fly." Sam asked Lyra for a map of the engine room. She gave him a drawing, and Sam studied it. He saw that there was a hidden panel near the back of the engine. Sometimes panels like that held extra parts or emergency controls. Sam squeezed through a narrow space and found the panel. It was stuck, but he pried it open with his screwdriver. Inside, he found some spare hoses and more wire. He also found an old emergency patch kit. Sam used the patch kit to seal the inside of the pipe, pressing the material into the crack. He then wrapped it again with duct tape, making a tight seal. The water stopped leaking and the temperature dropped more. Sam checked the scanner. It showed green now, meaning it was safe. Back in the control room, Lyra and Creve worked on the computer. They restarted the engine, watching the lights. This time, the engine started smoothly. The fans turned on and cool air filled the room. The Treller engineers cheered and thanked Sam. Zara said, "You saved the ship again, Sam. We could not have done it without you." Sam felt tired but happy. He wiped sweat from his forehead and sat down on the floor. He looked at his roll of duct tape, now almost empty, and smiled. He had used it for so many things, and each time it helped save the day. After the repairs, the station chief called everyone together. He thanked Sam and the Treller engineers for their hard work. He said, "This was a team effort. But Sam, your quick thinking and simple tools made the difference. You showed us that you do not always need special machines to solve big problems." Lyra gave Sam a small badge with the Treller symbol. "This is for you," she said. "You are now an honorary engineer of our ship." Sam felt proud. He pinned the badge to his coveralls. Later, as the ship cooled down and the danger was over, Sam walked through the halls, checking his fixes one more time. Everywhere he looked, he saw duct tape holding things together, pipes, wires, panels, and even a door handle. The Treller engineers followed him, asking questions and watching his work. Zara tried using tape on a loose pipe and smiled when it worked. Lyra told Sam that the Treller wanted to learn more from him. She said, "We always believed only the most advanced tools could help us. But you showed us that sometimes simple things work best." Sam nodded and said, "It's not about the tools. It's about working together and never giving up." By the end of the day, the ship was almost ready to fly again. The Treller engineers worked with Sam, laughing and talking like friends. The station crew watched and learned, surprised by how well humans and Treller worked together. Sam was tired, but he was happy. He knew he had made new friends and taught everyone something important. He thought about calling his family back on Earth to tell them the story. He knew they would be proud. Sam put his empty roll of duct tape in his pocket as a souvenir. It reminded him that with a little hope, teamwork, and some tape, he could fix anything, even an alien ship. The next morning, Sam walked to Dock 5 and found the Treller ship almost ready for launch. There were still a few things left to fix, but the big emergencies were over. The station was peaceful now, and many people stopped to thank Sam for his help. Sam felt proud, but also a little sad, because he knew the Treller would leave soon. He checked his toolbox and smiled at the empty spot where his last roll of duct tape had been. It had done a lot of good work inside the ship. Lyra, Creve, Zara, and the other Treller engineers finished the final tests. Lyra waved when she saw Sam. "Come, Sam, we want you to see our work," she said. Sam followed her to the control room, where the panels now glowed with green lights. Zara explained that all the systems were running well and there were no leaks or alarms anymore. Sam walked through the ship one more time with the Treller team. They stopped at every place Sam had fixed. Some fixes looked strange, with silver tape wrapped around pipes and wires, but everything was strong and safe. Creve showed Sam the engine room, where the coolant pipe and the emergency patch were still holding. Zara pointed to the door handle she had fixed herself. "Your way works, Sam. Now I always keep tape in my pocket," she said with a smile. Lyra led Sam to the main airlock, where a small crowd from the station was waiting. The station chief stood with a group of humans and other aliens. He called Sam to the front and spoke to everyone. "This station is home to many people from different places. Sometimes our differences make us stronger." Sam showed us that simple ideas can solve big problems. He helped us when we needed it most. Everyone clapped for Sam. He felt shy but happy. The chief gave Sam a small medal with the station's symbol. Lyra also gave him a folded piece of Treller cloth with their ship's name. "For you, Sam, you are always welcome on our ship," she said. Creve handed Sam a new roll of duct tape. This one was shiny and blue, the color of the Treller flag. "A gift from us," he said, and Sam laughed out as the Treller ship prepared to launch. The engineers worked side by side with the humans to check every system. Sam saw Zara teaching one of the human workers how to use tape to seal a small leak. Lyra shared her drawings of the engine room with the station's repair team, and Creve helped fix a broken light in the dock. The two teams learned from each other and talked about how they could help in the future. When it was time to say goodbye, the Treller ship glowed with new energy. Lyra thanked Sam again. "We thought only our machines could save us, but you..." showed us that heart and teamwork are just as important. Sam shook her hand, then hugged Zara and Creve. The Treller engineers smiled and waved as they walked up the ramp. The ship's engines started, and everyone on the station watched as the Treller ship lifted off and glided out into space. For a moment, Sam felt a little lonely, but then he saw that people were still working together, using some of the ideas he shared. Back on the station, Sam became a little famous. People started calling him the Fixer and came to him for advice. One day, a group of young workers asked Sam to show them how to use duct tape to make repairs. Sam set up a small class in the maintenance room. He told them, "Don't be afraid to try simple things. You never know what might work until you try." The workers practiced fixing broken chairs and sealing leaks with tape, laughing as they learned. Sometime later, Sam got a message from Lyra. She sent a picture of the Treller ship flying near her home planet. With a line of shiny tape still on the engine, she wrote, "The ship is strong and safe. The tape is still holding, and we tell your story to everyone. Thank you, Sam." Sam smiled and shared the message with his friends on the station. A few days after the Treller left, a new emergency happened on the station. A cargo door jammed, and no one could get it open. The engineers tried everything but failed. Sam was called in to help. He looked at the door, checked the control panel, and saw that some wires had slipped out of place. He used the blue Treller tape to hold them, then used a paperclip to connect the last wire. The door opened with a loud click. Everyone cheered, and Sam became even more respected. Life on the station slowly went back to normal. Sam kept working, fixing broken machines and teaching others. People from many different species came to ask for his help, and he was always ready to lend a hand. Sometimes he would find small gifts left for him, a roll of tape, a thank you note, or a snack from another planet. Sam knew he had made friends all across the station. One evening, while walking home, Sam stopped and looked out a window at the stars. He thought about all the things he had done, from fixing pipes to saving a whole ship. He realized that it did not matter if something was new or old, simple or advanced. What mattered was working together, using your head, and never giving up. Sam smiled, thinking of Lyra, Creve, Zara, and all the people he had met. He put his new blue roll of tape in his toolbox and walked back to his room. He knew there would always be more problems to solve, but he felt ready for anything, and so, on a busy space station far from Earth, Sam became a hero, not with fancy tools, but with kindness, hope, and a little bit of tape.